Hi and welcome to another tech video. So in this video today we are going back to basics with WordPress, and we're going to show you how to create a post using the standard WordPress editor, so not the Gutenberg editor. The theme we're using is Divi. We're not going to be using the Divi builder to build the post. We're going to be using the standard editor, and this is because we've had a request from one of our customers on how to create a basic WordPress post. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the plugin that we're going to be using. So if we go to plugins, the plugin that gives us a bit of extra functionality based on shortcodes is this one called Shortcodes Ultimate. It's a free and a paid for version. We're using the free version because we just want to embed a YouTube video in a post. You can do it just with some code, but we're going to be using this particular plugin because this is what the customer is using, and we're going to talk through what the options are. So the first thing that you want to do is I'm going to go into the theme options, and I'm going to go to the layout section, and I'm going to explain why we've set our settings that we've got here. So on our post we want to keep our author private, so we have ticked the box here or clicked on this to disable the author from appearing on our post, and we've also deselected the date from appearing on our post. Now this is useful for if you don't do a huge amount of posts. What you don't want to do is put people off from reading your post by having a post that's 4, 3, 2, 1 years old basically. So we hide the date because that means that then people will still be engaging on your post, whereas if they see an old post they're not likely to read it. The next section here is place thumbnails or thumbs on posts. So this is talking particularly around the featured image. So when you've got your posts layout in the grid format, if this is disabled, it means that the image that you're using, which I'll talk about later, is the featured image on that placeholder for your post. We don't want to show that inside the post itself, because depending on the layout and the format that you're using, it's going to put a big image at the top of the post, and if it's already as a featured image, we don't feel that that is worth doing, and probably it will put people off. So that's the settings for our post. So the next thing we want to do is we want to go in and we want to have a look at our WordPress settings. So we want to come under settings and then discussion, and the default settings that we use are we disable the attempt to notify any blogs, disable the allow link notifications from other blogs, and we allow people to submit comments on posts. But what we do is we make sure that the whoever's going to be posting needs to have an account and be logged in to be able to post a comment. And so this is the bit here. We can, if you just want to capture people's name and email address, you can select this box at the top, and they will need to enter their email address and name to be able to post a comment. We also use this next section here, users must be registered and logged in to comment. So basically what that means is they need to have an account. It gives you a bit of additional security around comments. And then going further down here, email me whenever anyone posts a comment or a comment is held for moderation. So we want to know when someone posts a comment because we actually want to come in and we want to approve that comment. And then before a comment appears, a comment must be manually approved, and the comment author must have a previously approved comment. So you don't necessarily need this one, because they need an account to log in and create one, and you need to approve it. So we deselect that, but we say the comment must be manually approved. And then the next section down the bottom here is we disable avatars. So in previous versions of WordPress, this was a route in for people to, instead of uploading a photo, they uploaded some code, and potentially that can cause to malicious activity on your site. So we always disable the avatars. And then once you've made your changes, you want to select on Save Changes. The next thing that you want to do is go to Permalinks. So this is, the permalink is this at the top basically, so the URL that people see. So at the moment we have got our day and name as the format for posts, which isn't really very friendly. So we actually go to post name, and this uses the post slug that I'll talk about later to have as the URL. So we want to do that, and you want to save the changes. This is all personal preferences basically, so do what you want to do, but this is the way that we do things. Okay, so that's it. So let's move to creating a post. So we're going to go to all posts. We haven't got a post here, so what we're going to do is we're going to click on add post, and the first thing that you want to populate is your title. So we're going to give this a title, test post for showing basic post creation. So you want to make it, give it a meaningful title, but you also don't want to make it too long, because the search engines will put lots of dots in the middle and people will lose you know, the slug effectively from what your post is about. So once you move off this will create a permalink and the post will be given a slug. So here's our permalink that's just arrived. As you can see here, this post title is a little bit long because it's got some dots in the middle. So I'm going to say test post showing basic post, and then I'm going to edit the slug, and I'm going to remove that to make it a little bit shorter. I'm going to say OK. Still got some dots, but in terms of the search engines, that should be long enough, and it should not be too long for them to penalize it. So the next thing, as you can see here, this is the standard builder. This is not using the Gutenberg editor, and we're not using the Divi theme builder. Here's our plugin for insert shortcode. So if we click on that, this shows you all the different shortcodes that you can use to give additional functionality to your post. The excerpt is effectively a snippet, so you can tell people what your post is about, some of the basic content, and that is used to engage your audience a bit more. So now let's look at the features of creating a post. So over on the right hand side here, we've got the Divi page settings. So this means basically is how do you want your page to look. So if you want to have a sidebar where you can have links and lists of other posts, and that uses widgets in that section, you can either create that on the right hand side or the left hand side, or you can select no sidebar, which means your post is going to be full width, and that's the format that we're going to be using today. The next section under here is the publish section. So if you don't want your post to go live, then you would just select it as a draft. Basically, it means if you're going to be making changes before it goes live, then you want to save it as a draft, and that way it doesn't appear on your site. And these are the options here. So we've got draft and then pending review. So pending review means if your posts need to be, say you're an editor on your site, or an author on your site, then when you publish your post, it will move to a status of pending review, which means that an editor needs to go in and review your post, and then they would then publish it on your behalf to make sure that all the content is good. So we click on cancel. So at the moment, because we've not saved it or published it, it's saved as it is in draft format. The next thing is visibility. So at the moment we've got our post that when we do publish it, it's going to go public, which means it's going to be available on the website for everybody to see. If you click edit, these are the options. So if you want to make your post always stuck to the front page, if you're using the default layout and you're not using a page for your home, a created page for your home page, you can stick that post to the front page. It will always be on the front page. It's the same as pinning effectively. The next option here is password protected. So as it says, for anybody to view the post, they need to enter a password, and it's up to you to provide the password to your audience so that they can then view that post. And then the final one is private, basically. So this means that the post is only going to be visible to you as the author. So when you're logged into your website, you'll be able to see it. When you're not logged into your website, you're not going to be able to see it. So that's what that means. But 9 times out of 10, you're always going to use public because you want your post to be visible by everybody. The next option here is publish immediately. So what this means is if you click on publish, it's going to go straight away and be published to the site. If you click on edit, this gives you the ability to schedule when your post goes live. So set your month, day, your year and your time, and then when you OK that will then publish it on that date and time that you've selected. Once you OK it and then publish it, it will go into pending publication, and then at that scheduled time it will then go live. So that's quite useful if you want to create 3 or 4 posts at the same time and then schedule them to appear on your website at different dates and different times. So that's what that option is. And then the format, when we create a post, we always pick the standard format, but this gives you effectively the style of the post. So you've got whether it's a video post, an audio post, a quote, or if it's going to be a gallery, or if it's a link post basically. So we always use the standard. You know, you can use those, experiment with them at your leisure. The next thing is categories. So posts will always need to be set in a category. If you don't set them in the category, they're always going to appear in the uncategorized category. So this is a way of breaking down your posts into sections, if you like. So you can have a category for technology, and you can have a category for absolutely anything you want. You can also have parent categories and child categories. So if you want to create your post in a brand new category, you would select your category here, add new category. So we're going to create testing. And when we add our new category, that is automatically going to get ticked because we're in the post, and as far as WordPress is concerned, you want this category to be, or you want this post to be assigned this new category. If you don't, however, you can just untick it and select whichever category or categories you want. So I could put it in 2 categories, and then when I publish it, it's going to add that post to the category, and then you can list the categories on your website that enables people to find the content that they are looking for. And that brings us nicely onto the tag section. So these are like hashtags basically. You can use what's called a tag cloud inside WordPress that again is going to allow you to have your audience search by tag, for instance. So if we create a post and we call this one, we're going to give it a test tag. It means that if you're using a tag cloud, when someone clicks on that test tag, it's going to bring back a list of all of the posts that have got a category, that have got a tag of test. So it's another way of giving your posts granularity. So I'm just going to, I'll leave that there for the minute. And then we come to our featured image. This is the important one. So if you set a featured image, it means that in your lists of posts, in other words, in your post grid, it's going to show the picture at the top of your post, or however you've laid your posts out basically will depend on how the image looks, where it appears. It could be that you've got a post that has the background as the featured image, and then when someone mouse overs it, the text appears of the title and the snippet of text. So I'm going to set a featured image for this post. I'm just going to use this image here, and you want to, for the search engines to pick it up, you want to give your image some alternate text. So I'm going to do, I don't know, this is a test post and will be picked up by the search engines. So alternate text is another way of having the search engines and improve your SEO. What you want to do is you want to have at least one image that's got alternate text and use the alternate text to do with the content of your post, and that way you will get better visibility. And also when the image, someone finds the image, if they click on the image, they're going to see, or when they hover over the image, effectively the search engines are going to know what that image is about, and therefore it's going to make your post more engaging and give you better rankings in the search engines. So we're going to set our featured image. As you can see, it's appeared here. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to give our post some text, so I'm just going to use a block of text, and I'm just going to have this as paragraph text. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to have a short code. So with the post title, we have told our system to use the post title in your post. So basically you don't need to put a heading in here that provides your post with a title, because it's already going to appear if you're using the standard editor. So what we've got here is we've given it some text, and now we want to add an image, and we want to add an image on the right hand side of our post. So what we're going to do, I'm going to position my cursor at the beginning of the line, and I'm going to add media. I'm going to add the same image again, but this time when I insert it, I'm going to select the size of it here, so you can go full size, large, medium, or thumbnail. So I'm going to use a medium size image. I'm going to insert that into the post, and as you can see here, it's not very nicely aligned, and I want it over on the right hand side. So to do that, I'm going to select my image, and I've got a couple of options here. I've got align left, align center, or align right. So I'm going to align it to the right, and when it does that, it's going to wrap the text around the image. And there we go. So it puts it onto the right hand side, and the reason the image is right at the top of the page is because I position my cursor at the beginning of the content. Now if we go and move away from the visual editor and we use our text editor here, you can see that our image is the first thing on that line, and therefore it's going to appear right at the top of the text. If I cut that out and I put the image, I don't know, let's put it here, and I'll paste it in there. Now if we go back to our visual editor, it should have dropped down a little bit, which it has, as you can see here. Now if you want to move it around, you can do so. Left click and hold, you can drag your image to a different position, but you've got to make sure that it looks okay. So we can go in and we can amend this. So as you can see here, it's given us some lines in between, so we're going to delete the lines like this, and then when we go to our visual editor, it should be more effectively in line in the layout that we want. So now I'm going to put a heading in here. I'm going to put a heading 2 to break up the text. I'm going to highlight that, and then I'm going to go in, I'm going to set it as a heading 2. I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to put that in the center. So I'm going to position my cursor at the beginning of it, go into the center, and now I'm going to add a YouTube video. So again, I want the YouTube video to be in the middle of the page, so I'm going to put my cursor into the middle of the page, and I'm then going to use insert shortcode. But before I do that, I need to go to YouTube and grab a video. So let's have one of my own videos. Let's go to content. Let's take this this Mac upgrade video. So when you're in the content, click on the three dots, click on shareable link. You can then close that down. Now I'm going to go back. Oh, spelling mistake there. And I'm going to insert my shortcode, and I'm going to insert a YouTube video. And I'm going to put my video content in there. I'm going to ignore the width of it. You can make it smaller, you can make it bigger. I'm going to select 600 by 400. I'm just going to leave that as default. Responsive, yes. So I want it to be responsive basically. So this basically ignores this. If you select no to being responsive, it will then take the sizing that you specify. Responsive means it's going to be as big or as small depending on the screen that you're working with. So for instance, if someone's looking at it on a desktop PC, it's going to be as big as your post content width. If they're looking at it on a phone, it's going to scale down, it's going to be responsive. And we're going to select autoplay as no, because we don't want the video to play automatically, and we don't want the volume to be muted straight away before they start. So we just basically give it the defaults. If you want to add some CSS styling, you can give it a class here, and that will enable you to style the video or the area that the video is in. And then we're going to say insert shortcode. so that is now our video put in there. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add another paragraph, another heading text, but we're going to give this h3 tag, and again we're going to center it, but this one we're going to make italic just for something different. Click on the I for italic there and it makes your heading italic. I'm then going to drop it down a line, and I'm going to take some more text and I'm going to add that to my post. So now we've got an image, we've got some text. You can make it as pretty as you want to. You can add additional shortcodes here if you want to give it a heading. Oh, let's insert a divider. So we're going to go into shortcode. We will add a divider. Show link to top of the page. So if you click this, basically it means it's going to take you up back to the top. You can give it an anchor. So these are like bookmarks. You can give it style, the color, the size of it, if you want to have a margin, or again you can add a class to it yourself. So I'm going to insert that shortcode as the divider. I'm going to center it actually like that, and then again I'm going to give it some more text. We're going to leave the text in these two as left justified. Okay, so that's pretty much it for creating our post. So what we want to do is we're now going to publish it because we don't want it to be in draft. We're happy with the content. We think it looks brilliant. It's going to engage all the audience, all of that kind of good stuff. So we are now going to publish our post. And once that's published, we can then go and have a look at it by clicking on View Post. And there we go. So here's our title that we created, our two categories that we created, test category and testing. No one's left a comment so far. Here's our paragraph. Now you can see we've got a little problem with our paragraph here. So let's go back, and it's under the A and the Met. So that means that there is a carriage return between the A and the Met here. So all we're going to do is we're going to delete, in fact that's probably a new line, so let's find Met. There we go. So there is something sat there. So now when we publish it, if we update that, we have a look at our post. That's it. That's sorted that little problem out. So that's now flowing text around the image. Heading 2 to break up the text, and here's our YouTube video. So we can play that. We get the audio. We get all of the kind of things that you would expect. So our source disk is going to be the Macintosh HD. So there we go. So we can pause that, and there's our heading 3 title, our left justified text, and then our divider with a go to the top. So when we click that, it'll take us back up to the top of the post, and then our next block of text. And then at the bottom, because I'm logged in, I get to see somewhere where I can post a comment. So for instance, if I wanted to do that, this is a great post, I can leave a comment because I'm actually logged in. Now when I post this comment, this is not going to require any approval because I am the author for the post. I am also the commenter, so it will automatically post the comment. So when we submit our comment and we have a look, we can see it's already posted there because I'm logged in and I'm the author. So if I wasn't logged in, for instance, then I would get a notification to say that there's been a comment and I need to go in and manually approve it. If I am logged in but as another user, then I can post the comment and it will be held in my queue for moderation. So basically you check it, and if it's okay, you can then publish that comment. So let's close that down and let's go and have a look at our comments. So we go into our WordPress dashboard and you can see our comment here. Now if you think that's spam, you just basically click on the spam. If you want to delete it, click on delete it, and if you want to unapprove it, you can do that as well. So say for instance you wanted to not have it published on the website but you wanted to keep the comment, you click on unapproved, and now when we go back to our post, that comment will be removed. and it says here your comment is awaiting moderation. So that means if I now go and look at it in Chrome, not as a logged in user, so just as general public, if I scroll to the bottom, there's no comment, and you get the message to say you can submit a comment, but you must be logged in to post a comment. And if you're not logged in, well, then you need to create an account, and you do that by using the login function, and that's not available on this particular test site. And the reason for that is I will show you, because we have basically said to the system, membership, anyone can register. So that is not ticked, which means that on the login page you don't get the ability to register. So if you wanted people to register themselves, then you need to tick that box that says anyone can register. Now when we go back here and we go to Chrome again, we can scroll down to the bottom and it says you must be logged in. So if we click on login, we don't have an account, so we can now, if you notice here, because we tick that box, we've now got the ability to register with a username and an email address. So that's all there is to it. That is the basics of creating a post. So let's go back to our post, and we can see that we've got a comment here that's awaiting moderation, and a comment here, or a notification here, that it's awaiting moderation. So if we wanted to go back in here, we can then say approve, and that's what you would need to do on any comments that you get. So if you found that video useful, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.